Hey everybody, this is TJR.
This is Superfan.
And it's time for hour 3 of Live Aid.
Yay!
And yay! We are starting this off with, hopefully I get his name right here, prompt me if I don't, Nik Kershaw.
Correct.
Thank you. Nik Kershaw. Now, of course, I had to ask you who's Nik Kershaw before, as it started, I asked, who's Nik Kershaw? And you said, wouldn't it be nice? And it took me a second, and I was like, oh yeah, I think I remember that song. I remember
You do remember that song because you covered it a couple years ago with Project True.
Did we really?
You did?
You know, you're right, we did. I forgot about that. And I forgot about the song, which tells you what an impact it made on me.
I always liked
it
that
wasn't
song.
my idea to cover it. It was Rob, who was the band leader. It was his idea to cover it. But I had kind of forgotten about it. Now that I've watched the concert, you know, it's like I had to kind of like try to remember the song. It was one of those songs from that time period that I remember hearing, you know, on the radio. Not that I actively listened for it, but it would just pop up.
Yeah, and I enjoyed it probably more than you did.
Yeah. Well, it was more your like I said, your culture period.
My thing.
Your formative thing. I thought it was a nice song. It was fine, but nothing like that I was like crazy about. However, though, with that said, as I've been saying this, as I've been seeing some of these 80s groups that were part of that whole synthesizer-driven era.
Along with their spectacular mullets.
Yes, we can't leave out the serious mullet action that's going on with not just this performance, but many others.
I think it's safe to say that that's probably, this Live Aid concert is the largest appearance of that particular hairstyle on one stage at any given time.
That we know of. It's funny, though, that so many of these 80s groups, you know, the mullet was the thing. And nowadays, we associate mullets not with this new wave romantic period, as it's sometimes called, but we associate it with just like rednecks, basically. Country music.
Southern.
Okay, there we go. We kind of associate it with that now. But anyway, so it is interesting to know. But getting back to the band and the music, again, I'm surprised.
You can make fun of his hair as much as you want, by the way.
I'm surprised at how much rock guitar there was in this performance. There's even like electric guitar soloing, which again, not expecting with this kind of music. It's not like it's Led Zeppelin, don't get me wrong, but I'm hearing more rock guitar with these acts than I've been expecting. The same holds true for Nik Kershaw, which we just watched.
I think that probably goes back to the synthesizer being the big thing.
Well, yeah,
in that time
like
frame.
I said, the synthesizer dominance. And you had mentioned at one point, which we didn't talk about earlier, that you felt that a lot of these bands, you know, they were more rock, but the record labels
wanted synthesizers, so they got a keyboard player and
they played it up way more in the mix.
Yeah.
You know. And in fact, a lot of these bands are also bigger bands in that 5 is, you know, usually when we think of most rock bands, we think of 4 members, maybe 3, but 5 tends to be not as common, or more, 5 or more. That's say for like bands like Chicago or things like that.
Prior to the 80s. I mean,
there
are always exceptions.
Yeah, there are exceptions, of course. Yeah, but once the 80s hit, a lot of these bands I've noticed, there are at least 5 or more members, I've noticed.
Yeah. You know, drums, guitar, bass, and
2 guitars sometimes,
yeah.
Keyboards, horns maybe.
Yeah,
maybe a multi-instrumentalist that does more than one instrument. Yeah.
It just became bigger, like everything in the 80s.
Okay. Anyways.
From the excesses to the hair to the bands.
Yeah. But like I said, still though, I can't deny, very good, solid live performance, lots of energy. Even if I'm not particularly into the music, I can enjoy the energy. Okay, so next we have Sade.
Yes.
And Sade was one of the artists of that period who had songs on the radio that I remember I liked, though I haven't thought about her lately. Watching this performance, I have to say, this music has aged really well. Unlike my feelings about some of the 80s bands where I feel like some of it, not all of it, and this is true of any genre and any era. There's some that ages really well. There's some that maybe doesn't age as well, but it's still enjoyable. But this
is timeless.
This music really has aged well. This mixture of soul, jazz, and world music, that's how I describe it anyways,
Yeah.
Has aged really well. This performance was really good.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of one of these is not like the others.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I knew she had a good voice, but watching this live performance, she has a great voice.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
Yeah, I mean, a really great voice. I really enjoyed this performance. And it's, like I said, I remember Sade having hits that I liked, but I don't have a single album by her. I've never felt compelled to listen to one of her albums. But after this, I feel like I probably will.
Yeah, if you were to see a Sade album for a couple bucks at the record store, you'd pick it up in a heartbeat.
I feel like I would probably go to maybe Tidal or maybe Apple Music and see what some of her what is considered maybe one of her essentials, and probably play it and listen to it at this point. But yeah, this was just really, really good. I don't know what else I could really say about it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say.
No, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And I've always enjoyed her.
Uh-huh.
You never really went out of the way, but
yeah.
If her song was on the radio and back in the day flipping through to find good songs while you were driving.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we didn't always have cassette or CD players in the car at
That's
that
right.
point.
That's right. Oftentimes the radio, in fact, during this time period, the radio was oftentimes my only option in the car.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have a cassette player, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either. And you flip through your favorite stations, and when you come to a good song, you stop.
Yeah.
And this would have qualified.
Yeah. So next we have Black Sabbath featuring Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we're back in the U.S.
Because nothing says Philadelphia like Black Sabbath.
There you go.
Ozzy
I'm surprised they
Osbourne.
weren't on the British stage. That surprises me. Maybe they were touring, I don't know. And maybe
They may have been touring, but it may have also been just logistical.
That's what I mean. Of course, when I say they were touring, Ozzy was no longer with Black Sabbath at this time. So it could have been that either Ozzy, or the members of Black Sabbath, depending on the logistics. But I certainly want to stop anybody from saying, Ozzy and Black Sabbath would not have been touring together at this time. I understand that. But yeah, there could have been any number of logistics that had them in the U.S. I seem to remember they did more than one song, and all we saw was one song, which was Paranoid.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they did. Go ahead.
Children of the Grave.
Yeah.
And Iron Man.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I remember them doing Iron
According
Man.
to Wiki.
Okay.
And Wiki knows everything.
That's true. But I remember they did more than one song, and all we're seeing here is one song, which now I'm really wondering if we're going to see everything or not. If this is real. I was under the impression this was everything.
Yeah, we'll have
until this moment. We'll have to see what happens. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, all we got to see was their performance of Paranoid, and which was a good performance. But I'm disappointed that we don't get to see and hear the other songs that were performed that day. It would have been nice to have seen them again. So after that, we have something that neither of us remember from back in the day. I don't remember it. Do you?
No.
They're called U-Rock Mission, and this was basically from Belgrade. This was like
Belgrade, Yugoslavia.
Thank you. This was basically a taped performance. This is basically kind of a music video, kind of like their version of We Are the World.
Or Do They Know It's Christmas?
Do They Know It's Christmas is what this is.
Yeah.
So this was all in a foreign language. There were of course, subtitles.
And a lot of mullets.
A lot of mullets. and a lot of Yugoslavian music artists that we don't know or recognize, which is not to in any way denigrate any of these artists, just saying we don't know who any of them are. But anyways, yeah, this was just basically a music video. Next, we have Run DMC. We have one performance. I'm not sure if they did anything more on the Live Aid stage that we're not seeing, kind of like with Black Sabbath featuring Ozzy Osbourne. I'm not sure there wasn't more.
They are not doing these in order now. This is the first we've run into that.
Yeah, in the past, the list on Wikipedia of the performances has matched up with what we're seeing in these videos, and now it's not matching.
Yeah.
But
And part of it is just the switch between, now they're switching back and forth between Philadelphia and
England.
And London.
London, excuse me.
London and Philadelphia, I guess it should be said.
Okay.
Because, London's ahead of their time.
Yeah. Anyways, though, but we have Run DMC. We only see one track. I think the song was called King of Rock, was the name of it, which I vaguely remember from the 80s. Don't have a lot to say. Run DMC, aside from their remake of Walk This Way, there was nothing really about them that caught my attention then or now. So it's just one track, so there's not much I can...
It was a high energy. It was a good performance.
I just wasn't that into it, to be honest. I just wasn't that into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not the right person to be talking about hip-hop and rap, although I do have a small sampling of rap and hip-hop music in my collection that I do like and enjoy listening to. It's very small. So I'm really not someone who I feel like is qualified to comment on the genre. But this is not part of what I have ever enjoyed or liked. So
yeah,
I'm just going to...
not my thing either, really.
Yeah, I don't feel like I can really comment on this. So I'm just going to move on. Next, yes, what were you going to say?
I did want to mention some of the bands that we didn't see.
Okay, I'm hoping they'll be coming up later, but go ahead, yeah. Maybe they'll be sequenced later, but go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Hooters.
The
performed, Hooters? The Hooters were quite a big thing at that point.
Yeah.
They did And We Danced.
Yeah.
And All You Zombies.
Yeah.
After the Hooters came the Four Tops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that.
With Shake Me, Wake Me, When It's Over, Bernadette. It's the same old song, Reach Out, I'll Be There. Can't Help Myself, Sugar Pie Honey Bunch.
They must have done a medley.
They did do a medley.
Yeah. And who else?
After that was Billy Ocean, who did Caribbean Queen and Lover Boy. And I believe that is it so far.
Maybe those will be sequenced later. We'll see.
They may be.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're not skipping.
Me too. Yeah. I really am.
Yeah. Although Black Sabbath with Ozzy was one song, and we know there was more. So that to me is very disappointing that the rest of that's not there. This is the first I felt disappointed by these video presentations. Because up to now I've been very happy. But after this though, we get kind of a performance that features both Sting with Branford Marsalis and Phil Collins. And it's kind of a back and forth. It opens with Sting and Branford Marsalis, Sting on electric guitar, Branford Marsalis on tenor sax, and they do some slower...
They did Roxanne.
Versions of police songs. They did Roxanne.
And Driven to Tears.
Yeah. And then Phil Collins comes out and he does Against All Odds, solo piano. Then we switch back to Sting and Branford Marsalis. I think they did Message in a Bottle.
Message in a Bottle.
Then we switch back to Phil Collins doing, I'm trying to think of the song, In the Air Tonight. Then finally, Sting and Branford Marsalis and Phil Collins do a song together.
Long, Long Way to Go.
Yeah.
Which is foretelling of Phil Collins's Concorde flight.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To Philadelphia.
Yeah. We'll get to that soon enough. And again, also, with what they've skipped so far, or appear to have skipped, are we not going to see the Led Zeppelin performance with Phil Collins and Tony Thompson on drums? Or I wonder if we're going to get to see that or not. I'm fully aware of the fact that Led Zeppelin was not on the Live Aid DVD because Led Zeppelin did not authorize that to be there. But I wonder if we're going to get that as part of this. We'll see what happens when we get to those chapters. This was the longest chapter so far. It's just a little bit over an hour, whereas the previous ones were about just under an hour. This is about like an hour and like 11 minutes or so. But we've got this performance with these two, artists that were, at this point, huge chart toppers.
Yeah.
And both of them had been formerly in huge bands previously, Phil Collins having been in Genesis. Phil Collins actually still in Genesis, but now doing a solo career and Genesis at the same time. Yeah. Genesis was during the 80s, of course, experienced a huge revival because they commercialized their sound to fit more with the times and came up with some nice, hits, nice top 40 hit singles. And now Sting, at this point, the Police, you were telling me the Police hadn't officially...
are still together.
They hadn't officially broken up.
But Dream of the Blue Turtles had come out about a month prior to this.
Yeah. And you were saying you were surprised that Sting didn't perform any of that. Maybe because it was still too new and fresh, and maybe he thought I should just play hits by the Police because we want to please the crowd. I don't know. Well,
and Driven to Tears is kind of an obvious one because that was really the first song about the
situation
in Africa that started all of this.
I was not aware that that's what that song was about, to be honest. So now that you've explained that to me, I have a whole new perspective on it. I'm not going to hear that song the same way now, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah, and he wrote that song in 1979.
Wow.
About the plight of starving children in Biafra.
Wow.
I'm not sure where Biafra is.
Okay.
But I'll tell you in just a minute. It's Republic of Biafra in West Africa.
Okay. But anyway, so then like I said, we've got these two. We've had all these very energetic performances where they've got these with the full bands, and then we have these two big chart-busting artists, the biggest names so far of the time period.
Doing basically
very stripped down versions.
Acoustic.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Acoustic field performances.
Yeah, exactly.
Very good performances.
Yes, they're very good performances. I can see that. But I'll be honest. I remember when Sting was when he was beginning his solo career. And so he was doing the very stripped down version of Roxanne that was slower. And he was doing these, like I said, these kind of slower versions of Police songs. And I never cared for those versions.
Yeah.
And I don't think I still care for them now, to be honest. Not that he's not performing them well. He's performing them great. His voice is tremendous. But I'm just not into the versions. Yet, as I was watching this, I kept thinking to myself, now, Collins is doing the same thing. He's doing these songs stripped down with piano, and yet I'm really enjoying his performances. Maybe it's because even though you don't have the drums, bass, or guitar, the songs are still pretty much in the same tempo that they were originally recorded in. They're just more stripped down, so maybe that's why I'm enjoying it more. But either way, both these two artists have two of the most distinctive voices.
That is true.
In that time period and even now.
Well,
in rock
any
history.
time period of rock history.
Yeah, these are two just very distinctive rock voices in the history of rock music.
And it was kind of amazing to see them perform together, too.
It was, yeah. So that wraps up chapter 3. I don't want to say hour 3 because it's actually longer than an hour, but part 3. And any other, before we wrap this up, any other little comments you want to say about this?
At the time, it was an amazing thing. It's great to be able to go back and look at all these performances. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get to see
these other artists. Yeah, I am too. I remember the Four Tops. I would love to see that again. I'm hoping they will come up in the next chapter. Maybe they're resequencing it. I don't know, but I'm hoping that we'll still see them. Like we said, we're taking this one chapter at a time.
Or maybe there was an issue with rights and royalties
Maybe.
related to that, because I know at the time people were hoping for a Live Aid album,
Yeah.
like a live,
I would have wondered too
album.
why it didn't happen.
but the record labels would never have gone for it. That's why. Because that was something, they did a call-in interview and on K-Rock,
Which was a local radio station.
which was our local radio station, and
Yeah.
they're pretty well known, I think, in general. But I actually called in and was, I think it was the promoter,
Bill Graham?
Bill Graham,
Yeah.
that I spoke with, and my question that I asked was, why not Los Angeles? Why Philadelphia? And it was because of logistics and time differences and being able to get Phil Collins on his Concorde flight from London to
the U.S. Yeah.
I think it had to be a logistical nightmare to coordinate between the two stages, let alone all the other add-ins as they went.
Yeah, and artists and everybody. Not to mention, and we've mentioned it before, not to mention a logistical nightmare of all the egos. But yeah, pretty crazy.
And agents and labels saying my artist is more important than your artist.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there were some of those as well.
Yeah. I'm sure it wasn't necessarily always the artist, but yeah, you're right. The labels and the agents.
I would like to hope that the artists were more interested in the cause, not the I'm more important than somebody else side of things, but I'm sure it happened.
Oh, yeah. Anyhow, so that is part 3. And we'll be back for part 4. Leave your comments. Let us know what you think of these performances. Let us know your memories of Live Aid. And just thank you so much for watching. As we're recording this one, the first chapter just dropped. The response was really great. We appreciate the response from all of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just really appreciate it. And so at this moment, we're going to keep going through the different episodes and see how the rest of this goes. The second episode has not dropped as we're filming this, so I'll be curious to see how the response is to that one. And anyways, though, thank you, patron supporters, for all that you do. Patron supporters do receive videos not available on this channel, and along with sometimes early access to videos that will eventually be on the channel. Thank you so much for all that you do, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Everybody, thank you. Stay safe and healthy. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.